where like your package temp could be 15, 20 degrees cooler, but even still, just being below ambient on your overall package temp, like yeah, there's no way. like like that just physically doesn't make sense. Stuff. Spoop. Uh, I think I'm still waiting for my YouTube to like catch up buffering. There we go. Okay. Um. Okay. Tools. It's weird. I think it's weird. My that looks like slightly different than mine. Like I have more menus, and it's the same version. Yeah, that must be. Uh, if you go down to the little tools drop down on the bottom, does it have a like a hardware monitor type deal on it? Here, I'm gonna poke around with mine for a second because I know there's a fucking could have sworn there was a temp mark in there. You were using SpeedFan before, right? Yeah, yeah. The like the lever or the punk buster, whatever shit they have going on. Uh, Even still, if I go back to your stuff, okay, at least you're kind of fluctuating up on open hardware monitor. But I can't remember how to get SpeedFan to show that shit. Um, does your motherboard um have the LED readout where you have like the post codes where you get like error codes if you don't boot right or something? Does that show package temp? Damn, damn. Okay. Um, is there a temp? Aha. Okay, temp 1, 34C. That's what I thought. Um, oh, that's actually really weird. Yeah, I think core is just your package temp. Like that's the sensor that's on the board underneath. But even still, like for anything on your rig and like temp whatever the fuck temp 3 is definitely super raw. Like you would probably start a black hole and collapse all existence if you're fucking negative 128C. Like you gotta measure that shit in Kelvin, dog. Like holy shit. Um, Shit. Yeah, I don't know. I get we're getting sidetracked here, but I'm concerned. You know what I mean? Like because if you can't get any accurate temperature reporting, then how do you know you're not actually at like 60 or some shit like that? I mean, like, right. And if you have a dual 240 all in one on that CPU, right? Okay, yeah, there is no goddamn way that you are like below 10 degrees above ambient. Yeah, I'm watching. 'Cause I mean, like even under crazy overkill conditions, like if you look at Skunkworks, for example, which Skunkworks is a good example for me because I've directly compared the results from Jay's 2 cents to mine because Skunkworks used to run the same CPU that I have, like back in 2013 or whatever. Jay upgraded from a 3770K to a 4790K. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I've seen so many results on that cooler. Like there's no flipping way that I mean like I already know it's reporting wrong off the bat because you're below ambient. Like that's just not physically possible. But even on Skunkworks, where he has a double custom closed loop, where his CPU is on a quad radiator and his GPUs are on a sixth rad, he's still about 10 degrees above ambient when he's at idle. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe I need to do some forum trolling on accurate temperature reporting for your platform. Um, I would I would reference it against the 2700X since that's what you're going up to. Uh, yep. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. I derped. It's an AMD thing. You're 20 degrees offset. You're 20 degrees offset. I guarantee. I think that might just be a Ryzen thing, but if I'm not mistaken, unless you use the AMD specific shit, you're going to be 20 degrees offset. All right. So you got 217.4 single thread and 143.4. I think you might actually still beat me in multi-thread score. Hang on, let me check. No. Um yeah, yes, it's not the best benchmark ever. Like I mean you can tell just by how fast it ran. Like bench is brought. Okay, reference 1700. Damn it, I know this. Oh hey, I can compare directly against your processor. Or yeah, I can compare against the reference score of yours. I wonder if you can find a 4790K on there. Oh well, stressing just keeps running. Oh damn! I'm still running, but almost done. Yeah, 4790K. at least what the reference score of it is. Boop. Oh, whoops. Here, let me get the whole picture in here. Shift 4. Bam. I Right. So I've got basically that's the 100 megahertz overclock. That's what I'm getting out of it in this application. Because even though, right, which also, like, whenever you see in this program where it says at whatever gigahertz, ignore that because that's just a naming nomenclature thing. Yeah, that's the base clock, but as soon as you run the bench, it turbos. So that is situational. Like, for example, in mine, I can set it to manual base clock, but then leave turbo on and manually set what I want my non-turbo frequency to be. Because this CPU, if left to its own devices entirely, it can scale all the way down to 800 megahertz when I'm not doing anything, and then up to my 4.4. But I've got it set right now to where when I'm at boost clock, it'll go up to 4.5, and then when I'm not turboing, it goes down to 3.5. That way I don't. Right. But I don't know. Just I'm gonna do some more research real quick on FX series processors not reporting the temps properly, because that still just really concerns me, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where, like, you're doing a benchmark run, or you're trying to see just how far you can push your overclock, and on-screen display says your temps are fine, but you're actually pushing 90C and getting close to the danger zone, which isn't really that bad for a short time period. Like, a lot of people really, really overreact about it. But at the same time, I start feeling sketchy anytime my CPU temp gets over 80. When in all facts, it's T junction, which is the point where the CPU is like, hey, fucking Mayday, abandon ship, shut her down, which it'll automatically do. Um, Even though that's like 105 degrees or some shit like that, I I start feeling weird whenever I get above 80 or 90. You know, yeah, yeah. I have heard good things about RealTemp. I've used that in the past, but uh, maybe the official AMD one. Let's see here. Yeah, that's No, I didn't want to download it. Damn it. I think I have a period appropriate thing. Because I know AMD switched to like a whole new suite when they launched Ryzen as far as like what their official shit does. I don't know if it would still work as, or if this is even a good idea. Discord. There. I dropped a link. It's in Discord general. God damn, I got 9 messages waiting on Tinder. What the hell? Bitch is thirsty. Yeah, it's older. Like it's made for like when the APUs first came out. So like hopefully that's designed for the FX platform too. And maybe reports the right temperature. Because I definitely saw a lot of people having that problem when Ryzen first came out. You know, they'd go to run CPU Z or whatever, and there's like, no way I'm getting these temperatures, WTF. But I can't find the thread that was discussing it and like what the issue was. I just remember it being something about there being a offset on like T die or whatever. Mm. Oh God, you fucking Alice, you don't understand the question I'm asking you, you fucking idiot. Oh my God. Sorry. I sent a support ticket to EK the other day because I can't think of the term for it. But you know how like on the cooler itself there's like the hold down bracket that actually pushes it down or holds it down, and then there's the part of the block itself that connects to the bracket, right? um, well, the bracket that's on the block itself, um, like I looked at um, my CPU cooler in comparison to the die size and the fitment for my GPU. And the block itself is just barely small enough to fit over a GPU and still allow space for the screws to go in without doing like a diamond orientation to the square of the bolts. You know what I mean? Um, without rotating it that 90 degrees or fucking 45, whatever. Um, but as you know, the aluminum parts only work, um, or well, the aluminum water block that they make is only for 10 series cards. And anyway, I need to use a would prefer for that matter to use a universal VGA block, that only covers the GPU and not the RAM or the VRM or anything. It's just die only. Um, which I have actually managed to find such a block that has an all aluminum design. But one, it's fucking ancient, and B, it's hard to find, and C, it's made by a company that I'm pretty sure doesn't exist anymore. Um, so I quickly started looking into, okay, can I make a CPU block work? And they sell a Supremacy VGA piece, right? And internally, the fin design, like I'm not sure if the outer dimensions of it are exactly the same, but like by comparing the size of the fitting holes to the size of the fins and all that, like the fin and the flow channels are exactly the same as the CPU block on their universal VGA block. They just, reoriented the holes. And so the bracket that goes to the mounting hardware from the block on the VGA is much smaller. It just sticks out. There's a hole like immediately, and then blah. Whereas on the CPU one, it's designed to run on multiple platforms, so like the bars stick out a little further, and the holes don't start soon enough for me to put them on there without modding. So I contacted EK after having pawed over all their products, and particularly once I had this thing in hand, I realized part of their design was like they have, the base plate is at the bottom, right? And then the bracket that goes to the mounting hardware slides down onto that. Then the acetal top goes on, and the whole thing screws together. Right. So I'm thinking if you look at the VGA supremacy, I guess I need to ask them a more specific question because this guy's a fucking retard and didn't understand the question I was asking, which, I just need to be like, oh, what are the fucking dimensions on this part? Because if that's possible, then I might just be able to order a bracket from them, or like even if I had to shell out entirely for a fucking copper GPU block and then hawk it or whatever, or just fucking throw it in my spare parts box. It'd be worth it to have a nice clean bracket that I don't have to fucking sit there and fab myself. But anyway, what? A what? Encore? What's that? Oh, well, that's neato and all, but my particular application is actually not super liquid metal friendly since this is a very portable build. Um, yeah, but I mean, even still, like I'm okay living without the 5C improvement. Like I might delid and put my own thermal paste on here soon, just because like I mean I've had this processor since launch, you know. Yeah, yeah, and a lot of that, I mean, granted, one way or the other, you know, you're taking away layers of substrate. You know, that's two layers, or well, really one layer of cooling performance you're removing, and then improving the other layer immensely. But even if I did a delid and a relid using my MX4 ceramic fucking thermal paste instead of bullshit factory Intel Tim, like I'll probably see a few C improvement on that alone. Especially given that I'm pretty sure that the Tim on mine is far past its peak performance. Because I mean, granted, it is like half the reason it's so crappy is because it's designed for longevity. You know, it's not really meant for performance, but it's meant to be cheap and last long, basically. And my thermal paste is meant to be badass and last fucking longer. So it's kind of a no-brainer for me to do that one if if I feel like doing the whole delid thing. But only bitch with that is they don't make a sled for my processor. Like I think I could probably get away with using one that goes on a Skylake. I would have to study like what the surface mounted devices are like on mine, but I'm pretty sure I should be able to just like use a Skylake delid kit. But the main thing though is I want to get my GPU on the water loop first because I'm eliminating noise points basically. Like yeah, but it's still impossible to get sub ambient temps. Did and you tried that AMD thing? Okay. Yeah, it's probably just because it's old. Let me see AMD Wattman. Uh, never mind. That's for Radeon shit. That is just so freaky though, because I mean, like do you understand like the science basics that are like okay, just like the fuck. I mean, don't get me wrong, that would be like an incredible freak of nature, but oh yeah, it does the resource monitoring and all that jazz. Okay, AMD 9590 reporting low temps. I'm just gonna start there because nobody has a cool 9590. Aha! might have found a relevant thread. So begins the forum trolling. Yeah, I'm almost. Wait, what? Okay, this guy's lying. This guy's lying straight out of his ass. He's running a Corsair H60, which is a single fucking fan in like this garbage configuration. Like here, I want to screenshot this guy's fucking setup. Like talking about fucking 6 gigahertz. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. My ass. 6 fucking gigahertz. The worst. Like I gave you shit for your first setup, but this is hands down. I mean, I do too, but that's beside the point. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a Fatality 970 Pro from ASRock. Well, it's a whole different company, but also at a time when like ASRock just separated from Asus. Like this is like a second generation ASRock only board. So as ASRock used to be like budget Asus, but yeah, apparently they went off and became their own brand, taking all of the old A-bit IP. Because A-bit used to be the company that I used to buy my motherboards from that previously did the Fatality series. But anyway. Okay, bam. Uh, temp of 90 series integrated about. Whoa. All right. I don't know. This is still blowing my mind though. Like this is basically what he's saying is, as I suspected, that here I'll just copy pasta this. Oh, I directly sent that to you. Yeah. Yeah. It's just still like even with that explanation, like that at least kind of lends some credence to what I was saying of like, oh, that's probably, your package temp and not your actual core temp. But it also doesn't make sense that it's like it should be the other way around. Like your package temp should be higher, and I can't. Exactly. Like I would almost feel better if it was reporting 10 degrees too hot. Reporting too cold worries me. Like okay.